All right, we should be live right now. How's everybody doing tonight? This is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Special edition, of course. We have the State of the Union address coming up in about 15 minutes here. What you're seeing right now is just, I guess, probably the president come into the actual place to give the State of the Union address. Coming to the House, of course, to the House chamber. People are already there. They're just kind of hanging out, doing whatever they're doing. So we're getting ready to go ahead and get started in about 15 minutes. This is going to be a very interesting State of the Union address. If I am correct, I think that I am. This will be very interesting. I've heard that impeachment will not be mentioned, or at least impeachment was not in the actual speech notes, but that could change. They could change the speech, or Trump may go off the script and do something different, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Well, thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. What we're watching right now is just a little bit of a preview from C-SPAN. And once we get to 9 p.m., right around that, whatever Trump starts, we'll just switch over to this stream here. This is the official stream from President Donald Trump on the White House. So we'll go over there as soon as we get started. There you go. You got Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence, of course. You got some of the, it's like the Black Caucus members wearing the kente cloth, if I'm not mistaken. There's some kente cloth right there. So that little African type print, that's to show you that they're black for real, and they're part of the Congressional Black Caucus. So we got a nice packed house. Some people aren't there, but nobody cares. Okay, here comes Pelosi saying something.
The joint session will come to order. The chair appoints as members of the committee on the part of the House to escort the President of the United States into the chamber. The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Hoyer. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Clyburn. The gentleman from New Mexico, Mr. Lujan. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentlewoman from Illinois, Mrs. Bustos. The gentlewoman from California, Ms. Chu. The gentlewoman from Kansas, Ms. Davids. The gentlewoman from New Mexico, Ms. Holland. The gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentlewoman from Wyoming, Ms. Cheney. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Walker. The gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Smith. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Brady. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States in the House chamber. The senator from Kentucky, Mr. McConnell. The senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The senator from Iowa, Mr. Grassley. Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. Senator from Iowa, Ms. Ernst. The senator from Missouri, Mr. Blunt. The senator from Indiana, Mr. Young. The senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The senator from Wisconsin, Ms. Baldwin. The senator from Maryland, Mr. Cardin. The senator from New Hampshire, Mrs. Shaheen. And the senator from Delaware, Mr. Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The members of the escort committees will exit the chamber through the Speaker's lobby doors.
Okay, thank you. I was muted. I didn't even realize it. Yeah, so right now we're just doing some preliminary things until we get to the actual State of the Union address. That's what I was saying. I didn't realize my mic was off. But thank y'all for letting me know about that. And we'll get started, like I said, right around 9 p.m. Eastern. Right now we're at about 8:48, as you see on the screen. Trump could arrive a little bit later, a little bit earlier. It just depends, but we'll see.
Madam Speaker, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
Take a switch over to the other screen. Just 1 second. The sound's going to go off on this one, but I'm going to just do a real quick switch. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's do that. Okay, so right here we just have kind of a top camera view, and we don't really see much else. So I'm going to go back over to the other one, since there's sound there. Yeah, the all white. What is it? Is it the clam bake? Is it 1924 all over again? What's going on with the all white? What's really happening? The Democrats say they didn't start the KKK. I can't tell. Look at their outfits. Seems pretty clannish to me, but hey, what do I know? Are there black people wearing white? There may be some black folks wearing white, but I don't see a lot. Pelosi, I don't know what's going on with her. Hopefully she got some polygenic and everything's good with that. What are you reading, sir? There go Jared, OG Jared, Ivanka. Yeah, they're wearing all white again. Yes. I was going to say, is that Kanye's group? That's hilarious. We got some clamor songs happening. Maybe not. Don't really know. They go shift cutting deals. Or who is that? Is that Chuck Grassley talking to him? Oh, you already know, Killer Sushi. You already know you can't miss this one here. This is going to be epic. I'm talking about epic for real. Kristen Sinema,
Yeah,
very noticeable.
that.
She's like a millennial type of, you know, she's like a stereotypical millennial. And that's, I forget her name. She was running for president. I forget her name. You guys know who that is. You guys are smarter than I am. You know what's going on. All right, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit because there's not really a whole lot going on. And I'm gonna switch to the other stream to see if anything's happening over there. Not much, pretty much the same thing. Just, you know, people clamoring, walking around, looking to see who's gonna come in. Now, once we start, this is gonna be the stream I use. Because, you know, everything will be fine with that one as far as copyright. You said I'm hard to hear? It might be your sound. If I'm hard to hear, then it might just be, I don't know. Because I'm looking at my levels and they're pretty high. They're actually getting into, starting to peak a little bit, actually. Kamala's on the side. Okay, background noise too loud. Okay, I got you.
Madam Speaker, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
All right, there we go. Here we go. Man, if I could get a bucket list wish would be for me to be in that room right now. Oh man, I'd love to be there right now. Yeah, the intros are really over the top, No Lil King. They're a little over the top, a little dramatic, but it's all good. It is all good. And thank y'all for being here. We got 896, 904 in the building. I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm going to put on slow-mo in the chat in a minute so you guys can hear what's going on.
Still in the cleaners.
Or see what's going on, pardon me. I'm so all over the place focusing on what's happening on the screen. Anything Trump is a rally, pretty much. That's right. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you already know she's not going to be there. She's pretty much in a cryo chamber right now, resting until her next public appearance. You know what's going on with that, so we won't even speculate this particular point in time, but I'll move on. Yeah, I'm seeing that people are saying that there's no chat on Fox. Hey, everybody, you got to be able to talk to the people. But, you know, chat probably does not have any kind of, they don't have any kind of moderators over there or anything on their chat on Fox, so there's no way they can actually maintain a chat with like 40,000 people. It'd be a madhouse. You couldn't even get a word in edgewise. Hey, it's all good, October Scorpio. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for your support. Yeah, slow-mo is coming for sure. All right, let me go ahead and put on the slow-mo. Now, I'm going to put on slow-mo. Don't nobody get triggered, but I'm just trying to keep the chat readable for you guys so you're able to interact with each other. I'm going to do a 45-second slow-mo rather than the 4 minutes. All right, I'll turn this down. They go, the Indian lady, what's her name? Kamala Harris? Have I ever seen Kamala Harris wear a dress, or was it always like some kind of blazer, pantsuit type situation? That's Joaquin or Julian Castro. And is that Eric Swalwell? The failed candidates hanging out together? That's nice. Yeah, we're right at 8:57 Eastern Standard Time. So 8:56 on there, but that clock might be a little bit off. Mine said 8:57, so who knows? But we're ready to go ahead and rock pretty soon. Wow, 42,000 on the White House live stream. That's crazy. We get 1,000 in here. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for joining. I really appreciate you. Thank you, buddy Stott, who says ABL all day. Thanks for what you do. Thank you for your support. I most certainly appreciate you. And thank you to everybody that has donated so far in the stream. What I'm going to try to do is read everybody at the end, and then I'll give my 2 cents right quick, and then that'll be it after we're done. But this is going to be great. I won't be talking too much, if at all, during the State of the Union address. I'll just kind of be your cheerleader, you know, giving my thumbs up when needed, pretty much. Because I want you guys to be able to hear what Trump is saying. All righty? So this is going to be something, man. I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. How about y'all? There go Melania. Yes, indeed. There go Tiffany. Okay, Ivanka. That's not Ivanka. That's Eric Trump's wife. Tiffany. Nah, not Tiffany. What is her name? Eric Trump's wife? I forget her name. Tiffany is his youngest daughter. Ivanka is the oldest daughter, or the other daughter. Melania is his wife, of course. Is that Rush Limbaugh beside Melania? And shout out to Rush Limbaugh. He just said he had, is that Rush right there? I don't think so. But Rush just said he had lung cancer. So prayers out to my man Rush Limbaugh. Laura Trump. Yes, thank you, Lisa.
Madam Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
All righty. Got the cabinet coming through. Got the OGs. Got Pompeo. The OG Pompeo. I thought that was Rush. Yes, that was Rush. Barr, Billy Barr, the goon, the OG. Now, I hear Rush will get a Medal of Honor from Trump, which is going to be great. And when my man Ben Carson, Elaine Chao is also an OG. Remember when them punks came to our house? Leave my husband alone. Like, she was ready to pull out that gun and start shooting, but shout out to Elaine Chao. Alrighty. Yes, indeed. A lot of great people right there. A lot of really good people. Now, that was Rush. According to this news station, Rush Limbaugh standing next to the First Lady Melania Trump for the State of the Union address. It's a different view from the actual official White House stream. The one that I was just showing you was obviously C-SPAN. This is coming from the White House directly. Pretty much the same thing at this point. All right, so we're at 9:03. Trump should be here at any moment. You know how Trump does from dramatic entrances. Remember the last time Trump came to I forget when that was. It was like the doors open, like it's like double doors are open automatically. He just came through. It was a ray of light, all kind of stuff. So it's always going to be a dramatic entrance. But we'll see when he comes through in a very short period of time. There we go, the madman. Speak of the devil, but he's not the devil. Shout out to my man Trump. You see that side from a mile away, don't you?
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Great reception. Y'all are seeing history right now. I'm telling you. Y'all are seeing history right now as we speak. We're all seeing it together. That is 1,000% the truth. Yeah, I won't be right here and on the bottom left-hand corner too much. I might just shrink it or just get rid of it. Is the sound better or worse? Let me know, please. Is somebody booing? Really?
Members of Congress, the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States. And my fellow citizens, 3 years ago, we launched the Great American Comeback. Tonight, I stand before you to share the incredible results. Jobs are booming, incomes are soaring, poverty is plummeting, crime is falling, confidence is surging, and our country is thriving and highly respected again. America's enemies are on the run. America's fortunes are on the rise, and America's future is blazing bright. The years of economic decay are over. The days of our country being used, taken advantage of, and even scorned by other nations are long behind us. Gone too are the broken promises, jobless recoveries, tired platitudes and constant excuses for the depletion of American wealth, power, and prestige. In just 3 short years, we have shattered the mentality of American decline, and we have rejected the downsizing of Americans' destiny. We have totally rejected the downsizing. We're moving forward at a pace that was unimaginable just a short time ago, and we are never, ever going back. I am thrilled to report to you tonight that our economy is the best it has ever been. Our military is completely rebuilt, with its power being unmatched anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. Our borders are secure. Our families are flourishing. Our values are renewed. Our pride is restored. And for all of these reasons, I say to the people of our great country, and to the members of Congress, the state of our union is stronger than ever before. The vision I will lay out this evening demonstrates how we are building the world's most prosperous and inclusive society, one where every citizen can join in America's unparalleled success, and where every community can take part in America's extraordinary rise. From the instant I took office, I moved rapidly to revive the U.S. economy, slashing a record number of job-killing regulations, enacting historic and record-setting tax cuts, and fighting for fair and reciprocal trade agreements.
Yep.
Our agenda is relentlessly pro-worker, pro-family, pro-growth, and most of all, pro-American. Thank you. We are advancing with unbridled optimism and lifting our citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed very, very high. Since my election, we have created 7 million new jobs, 5 million more than government experts projected during the previous administration. The unemployment rate is the lowest in over half a century.
That's right.
And very incredibly, the average unemployment rate under my administration is lower than any administration in the history of our country. Yeah. If we hadn't reversed the failed economic policies of the previous administration, the world would not now be witnessing this great economic success.
They're mad in the back.
The unemployment rate for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached the lowest levels in history. African American youth unemployment has reached an all-time low. African American poverty has declined to the lowest rate ever recorded.
Yep.
The unemployment rate for women reached the lowest level in almost 70 years, and last year women filled 72% of all new jobs added.
They're mad. Look at his faces. Long faces. They're mad.
The veterans' unemployment rate dropped to a record low. The unemployment rate for disabled Americans has reached an all-time low. Workers without a high school diploma have achieved the lowest unemployment rate recorded in U.S. history. A record number of young Americans are now employed. Under the last administration, more than 10 million people were added to the food stamp rolls. Under my administration, 7 million Americans have come off food stamps, and 10 million people have been lifted off of welfare. In 8 years under the last administration, over 300,000 working-age people dropped out of the workforce. In just 3 years of my administration, 3.5 million people, working-age people, have joined the workforce. Since my election, the net worth of the bottom half of wage earners has increased by 47%, 3 times faster than the increase for the top 1%. After decades of flat and falling incomes, wages are rising fast, and wonderfully, they are rising fastest for low-income workers who have seen a 16% pay increase since my election. This is a blue-collar boom.
I like that phrase, blue-collar boom. Put it on the T-shirt.
Real median household income is now at the highest level ever recorded. Since my election, U.S. stock markets have soared 70%, adding more than $12 trillion to our nation's wealth, transcending anything anyone believed was possible. This is a record. It is something that every country in the world is looking up to. They admire. Consumer confidence has just reached amazing new highs. All of those millions of people with 401ks and pensions are doing far better than they have ever done before, with increases of 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100% and even more. Jobs and investments are pouring into 9,000 previously neglected neighborhoods. thanks to Opportunity Zones, a plan spearheaded by Senator Tim Scott as part of our great Republican tax cuts.
Shout out to my man Tim Scott, the OG, triple OG. House divided, crazy. Look at that.
In other words, wealthy people and companies are pouring money into poor neighborhoods or areas that haven't seen investment in many decades, creating jobs, energy, and excitement. This is the first time that these deserving communities have seen anything like this. It's all working. Opportunity Zones are helping Americans like Army veteran Tony Rankins from Cincinnati, Ohio. After struggling with drug addiction, Tony lost his job, his house, and his family. He was homeless. But then Tony found a construction company that invests in Opportunity Zones. He is now a top tradesman, drug-free, reunited with his family, and he is here tonight. Tony, keep up the great work, Tony.
I love it. I love it. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Tony. Our roaring economy has, for the first time ever, given many former prisoners the ability to get a great job and a fresh start. This second chance at life is made possible because we passed landmark criminal justice reform into law. Everybody said that criminal justice reform couldn't be done, but I got it done, and the people in this room got it done. Thanks to our bold regulatory reduction campaign, the United States has become the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world, by far.
Yeah.
With the tremendous progress we have made over the past 3 years, America is now energy independent, and energy jobs, like so many other elements of our country, are at a record high.
They don't like jobs on the left?
We are doing numbers that no one would have thought possible just 3 years ago. Likewise, we are restoring our nation's manufacturing might, even though predictions were, as you all know, that this could never, ever be done. After losing 60,000 factories under the previous 2 administrations, America has now gained 12,000 new factories under my administration, with thousands upon thousands of plants and factories being planned or being built. Companies are not leaving. They are coming back to the USA. The fact is that everybody wants to be where the action is, and the United States of America is indeed the place where the action is. One of the biggest promises I made to the American people was to replace the disastrous NAFTA trade deal. In fact, unfair trade is perhaps the single biggest reason that I decided to run for president. Following NAFTA's adoption, our nation lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs. Many politicians came and went, pledging to change or replace NAFTA, only to do so, and then absolutely nothing happened. But unlike so many who came before me, I keep my promises. We did our job.
That's right. Left going to hate, but that's okay.
6 days ago, I replaced NAFTA and signed the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement into law. The USMCA will create nearly 100,000 new high-paying American auto jobs and massively boost exports for our farmers, ranchers, and factory workers. It will also bring trade with Mexico and Canada to a much higher level, but also to be a much greater degree of fairness and reciprocity. We will have that fairness and reciprocity, and I say that finally because it's been many, many years that we were treated fairly on trade. This is the first major trade deal in many years to earn the strong backing of America's labor unions. I also promised our citizens that I would impose tariffs to confront China's massive theft of America's jobs. Our strategy has worked. Days ago, we signed the groundbreaking new agreement with China that will defend our workers, protect our intellectual property, bring billions and billions of dollars into our treasury, and open vast new markets for products made and grown right here in the USA. For decades, China has taken advantage of the United States. Now we have changed that. But at the same time, we have perhaps the best relationship we've ever had with China, including with President Xi. They respect what we've done because, quite frankly, they could never really believe that they were able to get away with what they were doing year after year, decade after decade, without someone in our country stepping up and saying, "That's enough." Now we want to rebuild our country, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are rebuilding our country. As we restore American leadership throughout the world, we are once again standing up for freedom in our hemisphere. That's why my administration reversed the failing policies of the previous administration on Cuba. We are supporting the hopes of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people, but Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido.
Guaido.
Mr. President, please take this message back to your family.
Shout out to Juan Guaido. Yeah. Shout out to my man Juan Guaido.
Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much. Please take this message back that all Americans are united with the Venezuelan people in their righteous struggle for freedom. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yeah, both sides stand up. Come on. Clap for that man, Juan Guaido, and freedom for the Hispanic people in Venezuela that the left love so much. There we go.
Thank you very
They're
much.
standing.
Socialism destroys nations, but always remember freedom unifies the soul. To safeguard American liberty, we have invested a record-breaking $2.2 trillion in the United States military. We have purchased the finest planes, missiles, rockets, ships, and every other form of military equipment, and it's all made right here in the USA. We are also getting our allies, finally, to help pay their fair share. I have raised contributions from other NATO members by more than $400 billion, and the number of allies meeting their minimum obligations has more than doubled. And just weeks ago, for the first time since President Truman established the Air Force, more than 70 years earlier, we created a brand new branch of the United States Armed Forces. It's called the Space Force.
Yeah, Space Force.
Very important.
Space Force, baby. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
In the gallery tonight, we have a young gentleman, and what he wants so badly, 13 years old, Ian Launfay. He's an 8th grader from Arizona. Ian, please stand up. Ian has always dreamed of going to space. He was the first in his class and among the youngest at an aviation academy. He aspires to go to the Air Force Academy, and then he has his eye on the Space Force. As Ian says, most people look up at space. I want to look down on the world. But sitting behind Ian tonight is his greatest hero of them all. Charles McGee was born in Cleveland, Ohio, 1 century ago. Charles is one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, the first black fighter pilots, and he also happens to be Ian's great-grandfather.
I love it. Shout out to Granddad. That's history right there. Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. I love it. Shout out to all the dads, granddads, great-granddads. Shout out to all you guys.
Incredible story. After more than 130 combat missions in World War II, he came back home to a country still struggling for civil rights and went on to serve America in Korea and Vietnam. On December 7th, Charles celebrated his 100th birthday. A few weeks ago, I signed a bill promoting Charles McGee to Brigadier General, and earlier today, I pinned the stars on his shoulders in the Oval Office. General McGee, our nation salutes you. Thank you, sir.
He looks excellent for 100 years old. Spectacular.
From the Pilgrims to the founders, from the soldiers at Valley Forge to the marchers at Selma, and from President Lincoln to the Reverend Martin Luther King, Americans have always rejected limits on our children's future. Members of Congress, we must never forget that the only victories that matter in Washington are victories that deliver for the American people. The people are the heart of our country. Their dreams are the soul of our country, and their love is what powers and sustains our country. We must always remember that our job is to put America first. The next step forward in building an inclusive society is making sure that every young American gets a great education and the opportunity to achieve the American dream. Yet for too long, countless American children have been trapped in failing government schools. To rescue these students, 18 states have created school choice in the form of opportunity scholarships. The programs are so popular that tens of thousands of students remain on a waiting list. One of those students is Janiyah Davis, a fourth grader from Philadelphia. Janiyah. Janiyah's mom, Stephanie, is a single parent. She would do anything to give her daughter a better future. But last year, that future was put further out of reach when Pennsylvania's governor vetoed legislation to expand school choice to 50,000 children. Janiyah and Stephanie are in the gallery. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here with your beautiful daughter. Thank you very much.
Need that school choice for sure.
But Janiyah, I have some good news for you, because I am pleased to inform you that your long wait is over. I can proudly announce tonight that an opportunity scholarship has become available. It's going to you, and you will soon be heading to the school of your choice.
That's what I'm talking about. Education, jobs, military service, what's taboo? And they're mad. That's crazy.
Now I call on Congress to give 1 million American children the same opportunity Janiyah has just received. Pass the Education Freedom Scholarships and Opportunities Act, because no parent should be forced to send their child to a failing government school. Every young person should have a safe and secure environment in which to learn and to grow. For this reason, Our magnificent First Lady has launched the Be Best initiative to advance a safe, healthy, supportive, and drug-free life for the next generation, online, in school, and in our communities. Thank you, Melania, for your extraordinary love and profound care for America's children. Thank you very much. My administration is determined to give our citizens the opportunities they need, regardless of age or background. Through our pledge to American workers, over 400 companies will also provide new jobs and education opportunities to almost 15 million Americans. My budget also contains an exciting vision for our nation's high schools. Tonight, I ask Congress to support our students and back my plan to offer vocational and technical education in every single high school in America.
We need that back for sure. Absolutely. That is excellent. Gotta have that. No more underwater basket weaving and BS like that.
To expand equal opportunity, I am also proud that we achieved record and permanent funding for our nation's historically black colleges and universities. A good life for American families also requires the most affordable, innovative, and high-quality health care system on earth. Before I took office, health insurance premiums had more than doubled in just 5 years. I moved quickly to provide affordable alternatives. Our new plans are up to 60% less expensive and better. I've also made an ironclad pledge to American families. We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. And we will always protect your Medicare, and we will always protect your Social Security, always.
They're unhappy. I don't understand. Clap for something. He's saying some very good things right now.
The American patient should never be blindsided by medical bills. That is why I signed an executive order requiring price transparency. Many experts believe that transparency, which will go into full effect at the beginning of next year, will be even bigger than health care reform. It will save families massive amounts of money for substantially better care. But as we work to improve Americans' health care, there are those who want to take away your health care, take away your doctor, and abolish private insurance entirely. 132 lawmakers in this room have endorsed legislation to impose a socialist takeover of our health care system, wiping out the private health insurance plans of 180 million very happy Americans. To those watching at home tonight, I want you to know we will never let socialism destroy American health care. Over 130 legislators in this chamber have endorsed legislation that would bankrupt our nation by providing free taxpayer-funded health care to millions of illegal aliens, forcing taxpayers to subsidize free care for anyone in the world who unlawfully crosses our borders. These proposals would raid the Medicare benefits of our seniors and that our seniors depend on, while acting as a powerful lure for illegal immigration. That is what is happening in California and other states. Their systems are totally out of control, costing taxpayers vast and unaffordable amounts of money. If forcing American taxpayers to provide unlimited free health care to illegal aliens sounds fair to you, then stand with the radical left. But if you believe that we should defend American patients and American seniors, then stand with me and pass legislation to prohibit free government health care for illegal aliens.
That's common sense all day long. I got to stand for that, Klan left. That's common sense. Come on. Yes, indeed.
This will be a tremendous boon to our already very strongly guarded southern border, where, as we speak, a long, tall, and very powerful wall is being built. We have now completed over 100 miles and have over 500 miles fully completed in a very short period of time. Early next year, we will have substantially more than 500 miles completed. My administration is also taking on the big pharmaceutical companies. We have approved a record number of affordable generic drugs, and medicines are being approved by the FDA at a faster clip than ever before. And I was pleased to announce last year that for the first time in 51 years, the cost of prescription drugs actually went down. And working together, Congress can reduce drug prices substantially from current levels. I've been speaking to Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa and others in Congress in order to get something on drug pricing done, and done quickly and properly. I'm calling for bipartisan legislation that achieves the goal of dramatically lowering prescription drug prices. Get a bill on my desk and I will sign it into law immediately.
Look at Chuck.
With unyielding commitment, we are curbing the opioid epidemic. Drug overdose deaths declined for the first time in nearly 30 years. Among the states hardest hit, Ohio is down 22%, Pennsylvania is down 18%, Wisconsin is down 10%, and we will not quit until we have beaten the opioid epidemic once and for all. Protecting Americans' health also means fighting infectious diseases. We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak in China. My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat. We have launched ambitious new initiatives to substantially improve care for Americans with kidney disease, Alzheimer's, and those struggling with mental health. And because Congress was so good as to fund my request, new cures for childhood cancer, and we will eradicate the AIDS epidemic in America by the end of this decade.
Yeah, clap for that, please. Come on now. Y'all, come on.
Almost every American family knows the pain when a loved one is diagnosed with a serious illness. Here tonight is a special man, beloved by millions of Americans,
Rush.
who just received a stage 4 advanced cancer diagnosis. This is not good news, but what is good news is that he is the greatest fighter and winner that you will ever meet. Rush Limbaugh, thank you for your decades of tireless devotion to our country.
We love you, Rush.
And Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He's like stunned. He can't believe it. He's like, really? Yeah, man. Yes, Rush, you getting it, man. You earned it. You helped me turn from left to the right, and many of us. So you earned that for sure. You earned that. Yes.
I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please.
You doing that right now? Wow. This is great.
Rush and Catherine, congratulations. Thank you, Catherine. As we pray for all who are sick, we know that America is constantly achieving new medical breakthroughs. In 2017, doctors at St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City delivered one of the earliest premature babies ever to survive. Born at just 21 weeks and 6 days and weighing less than a pound, Ellie Schneider was a born fighter. Through the skill of her doctors and the prayers of her parents, little Ellie kept on winning the battle of life. Today, Ellie is a strong, healthy 2-year-old girl sitting with her amazing mother, Robin. In the gallery, Ellie and Robin, we are glad to have you with us tonight. Ellie reminds us that every child is a miracle of life. And thanks to modern medical wonders, 50% of very premature babies delivered at the hospital where Ellie was born, now survive. It's an incredible thing. Thank you very much. Our goal should be to ensure that every baby has the best chance to thrive and grow just like Ellie. That is why I'm asking Congress to provide an additional $50 million to fund neonatal research for America's youngest patients. That is why I'm also calling upon members of Congress here tonight to pass legislation finally banning the late-term abortion of babies.
Oh, they don't want to stand for that. They were just standing for neonatal research, but they don't want to stand for banning late-term abortion. Got it. All right.
Whether we are Republican, Democrat, or Independent, surely we must all agree that every human life is a sacred gift from God. As we support America's moms and dads, I was recently proud to sign the law providing new parents in the federal workforce paid family leave, serving as a model for the rest of the country. Now I call on Congress to pass the bipartisan Advancing Support for Working Families Act, extending family leave to mothers and fathers all across our nation. $40 million American families have an average $2,200 extra thanks to our child tax credit. I've also overseen historic funding increases for high-quality child care, enabling 17 states to help more children, many of which have reduced or eliminated their wait lists altogether. And I sent Congress a plan with a vision to further expand access to high-quality child care and urge you to act immediately. To protect the environment, days ago, I announced that the United States will join the 1 Trillion Trees Initiative, an ambitious effort to bring together government and private sector to plant new trees in America and all around the world. We must also rebuild America's infrastructure. I ask you to pass Senator John Barrasso's highway bill to invest in new roads, bridges, and tunnels all across our land. I'm also committed to ensuring that every citizen can have access to high-speed internet, including and especially in rural America. A better tomorrow for all Americans also requires us to keep America safe. That means supporting the men and women of law enforcement at every level, including our nation's heroic ICE officers.
Yeah. Shout out to all the public safety officials, ICE, police, fire, military, all you guys. Shout out to all you guys.
Last year, our brave ICE officers arrested more than 120,000 criminal aliens charged with nearly 10,000 burglaries, 5,000 sexual assaults, 45,000 violent assaults, and 2,000 murders. Tragically, there are many cities in America where radical politicians have chosen to provide sanctuary for these criminal, illegal aliens. In sanctuary cities, local officials order police to release dangerous criminal aliens to prey upon the public instead of handing them over to ICE to be safely removed. Just 29 days ago, a criminal alien freed by the sanctuary city of New York was charged with the brutal rape and murder of a 92-year-old woman. The killer had been previously arrested for assault, but under New York sanctuary policies, he was set free. If the city had honored ICE's detainer request, his victim would still be alive today. The state of California passed an outrageous law declaring their whole state to be a sanctuary for criminal, illegal immigrants, a very terrible sanctuary with catastrophic results. Here is just one tragic example. In December 2018, California police detained an illegal alien with 5 prior arrests, including convictions for robbery and assault. But as required by California's sanctuary law, local authorities released him. Days later, the criminal alien went on a gruesome spree of deadly violence. He viciously shot one man going about his daily work. He approached a woman sitting in her car and shot her in the arm and in the chest. He walked into a convenience store and wildly fired his weapon. He hijacked a truck and smashed into vehicles, critically injuring innocent victims. One of the victims is a terrible, terrible situation. Died, 51-year-old American named Rocky Jones. Rocky was at a gas station when this vile criminal fired 8 bullets at him from close range, murdering him in cold blood. Rocky left behind a devoted family, including his brothers, who loved him more than anything else in the world. One of his grieving brothers is here with us tonight. Jody, would you please stand? Jody, thank you. Jody, our hearts weep for your loss, and we will not rest until you have justice. Senator Tom Tillis has introduced legislation to allow Americans like Jody to sue sanctuary cities and states when a loved one is hurt or killed as a result of these deadly practices.
That's right. Absolutely.
I ask Congress to pass the Justice for Victims of Sanctuary Cities Act immediately. The United States of America should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens. In the last 3 years, ICE has arrested over 5,000 wicked human traffickers, and I have signed 9 pieces of legislation to stamp out the menace of human trafficking domestically and all around the globe. My administration has undertaken an unprecedented effort to secure the southern border of the United States. Before I came into office, if you showed up illegally on our southern border and were arrested, you were simply released and allowed into our country, never to be seen again. My administration has ended catch and release.
Yeah, buddy. The left not standing, of course. Like I say, like illegal aliens, criminals running across
If you
the country.
come illegally, you will now be promptly removed from our country. Very importantly, we entered into historic cooperation agreements with the governments of Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. As a result of our unprecedented efforts, illegal crossings are down 75% since May, dropping 8 straight months in a row. And as the wall rapidly goes up, drug seizures rise, and the border crossings are going down and going down very rapidly. Last year, I traveled to the border in Texas and met Chief Patrol Agent Raul Ortiz. Over the last 24 months, Agent Ortiz and his team have seized more than 200,000 pounds of poisonous narcotics, arrested more than 3,000 human smugglers, and rescued more than 2,000 migrants. Days ago, Agent Ortiz was promoted to Deputy Chief of Border Patrol, and he joins us tonight. Chief Ortiz, please stand.
Shout out to Chief Ortiz. Yes, indeed.
A grateful nation thanks you and all of the heroes of Border Patrol and ICE. Thank you very much. Thank you. To build on these historic gains, we are working on legislation to replace our outdated and randomized immigration system with one based on merit, welcoming those who follow the rules, contribute to our economy, support themselves financially, and uphold our values. With every action, my administration is restoring the rule of law and reasserting the culture of American freedom. Working with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, thank you, Mitch, and his colleagues in the Senate, we have confirmed a record number of 187 new federal judges to uphold our Constitution as written. This includes 2 brilliant new Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. Thank you.
That's very important. Extremely important. Shout out to them.
And we have many in the pipeline. My administration is also defending religious liberty, and that includes the constitutional right to pray in public schools.
Yes, indeed.
In America, we don't punish prayer. We don't tear down crosses. We don't ban symbols of faith. We don't muzzle preachers and pastors. In America, we celebrate faith. We cherish religion. We lift our voices in prayer, and we raise our sights to the glory of God. Just as we believe in the First Amendment, we also believe in another constitutional right that is under siege all across our country. So long as I am president, I will always protect your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. In reaffirming our heritage as a free nation, we must remember that America has always been a frontier nation. Now we must embrace the next frontier, America's manifest destiny in the stars. I am asking Congress to fully fund the Artemis program to ensure that the next man and the first woman on the moon will be American astronauts, using this as a launching pad to ensure that America is the first nation to plant its flag on Mars. My administration is also strongly defending our national security and combating radical Islamic terrorism. Last week, I announced a groundbreaking plan for peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Recognizing that all past attempts have failed, we must be determined and creative in order to stabilize the region and give millions of young people the chance to realize a better future. 3 years ago, the barbarians of ISIS held over 20,000 square miles of territory in Iraq and Syria. Today, the ISIS territorial caliphate has been 100% destroyed, and the founder and leader of ISIS, the bloodthirsty killer known as al-Baghdadi, is dead.
See, they showed them. That was funny. Shout out to the cameraman. Oh, that's bipartisan. Very nice.
We are joined this evening by Carl and Marcia Mueller. After graduating from college, their beautiful daughter, Carla, became a humanitarian aid worker. She once wrote, "Some people find God in church. Some people find God in nature. Some people find God in love. I find God in suffering. I've known for some time what my life's work is, using my hands as tools to relieve suffering." In 2013, while caring for suffering civilians in Syria, Kayla was kidnapped, tortured, and enslaved by ISIS and kept as a prisoner of al-Baghdadi himself. After more than 500 horrifying days of captivity, al-Baghdadi murdered young, beautiful Kayla. She was just 26 years old. On the night that U.S. Special Forces operations ended al-Baghdadi's miserable life, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, received a call in the Situation Room. He was told that the brave men of the elite Special Forces team that so perfectly carried out the operation had given their mission a name, Task Force 814. It was a reference to a special day, August 14th, Kayla's birthday. Carl and Marcia, America's warriors, never forgot Kayla, and neither will we. Thank you. Every day, America's men and women in uniform demonstrate the infinite depth of love that dwells in the human heart. One of these American heroes was Army Staff Sergeant Christopher Hake. On his second deployment to Iraq in 2008, Sergeant Hake wrote a letter to his one-year-old son, Gage. "I will be with you again," he wrote to Gage. "I will teach you to ride your first bike, build your first sandbox, watch you play sports, and see you have kids also. I love you, son. Take care of your mother. I am always with you, Daddy." On Easter Sunday of 2008, Chris was out on patrol in Baghdad when his Bradley fighting vehicle was hit by a roadside bomb. That night, he made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Sergeant Hake now rests in eternal glory in Arlington, and his wife, Kelly, is in the gallery tonight, joined by their son, who is now a 13-year-old and doing very, very well. To Kelly and Gage, Chris will live in our hearts forever. He is looking down on you now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you both very much. The terrorist responsible for killing Sergeant Hake was Qasem Soleimani, who provided the deadly roadside bomb that took Chris's life. Soleimani was the Iranian regime's most ruthless butcher, a monster who murdered or wounded thousands of American service members in Iraq. As the world's top terrorist, Soleimani orchestrated the deaths of countless men, women, and children. He directed the December assault and went on to assault U.S. forces in Iraq, was actively planning new attacks when we hit him very hard. And that's why last month, at my direction, the U.S. military executed a flawless precision strike that killed Soleimani and terminated his evil reign of terror forever. Our message to the terrorists is clear. You will never escape American justice. If you attack our citizens, you forfeit your life.
That's right. Keep it plain. You forfeit your life.
In recent months, we have seen proud Iranians raise their voices against their oppressive rulers. The Iranian regime must abandon its pursuit of nuclear weapons, stop spreading terror, death, and destruction, and start working for the good of its own people. Because of our powerful sanctions, the Iranian economy is doing very, very poorly. We can help them make a very good and short-time recovery. It can all go very quickly, but perhaps they are too proud or too foolish to ask for that help. We are here. Let's see which road they choose. It is totally up to them.
That's right.
As we defend American lives, we are working to end America's wars in the Middle East. In Afghanistan, the determination and valor of our warfighters has allowed us to make tremendous progress, and peace talks are now underway. I am not looking to kill hundreds of thousands of people in Afghanistan, many of them totally innocent. It is also not our function to serve other nations as law enforcement agencies. These are warfighters that we have, the best in the world, and they either want to fight to win or not fight at all. We are working to finally end America's longest war and bring our troops back home. War places a heavy burden on our nation's extraordinary military families, especially spouses like Amy Williams from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and her two children, 6-year-old Eliana and 3-year-old Rowan. Amy works full-time and volunteers countless hours, helping other military families. For the past 7 months, she has done it all while her husband, Sergeant First Class Townsend Williams, is in Afghanistan on his 4th deployment in the Middle East. Amy's kids haven't seen their father's face in many months. Amy, your family's sacrifice makes it possible for all of our families to live in safety and in peace, and we want to thank you. Thank you, Amy. But Amy, there is one more thing. Tonight we have a very special surprise. I am thrilled to inform you that your husband is back from deployment. He is here with us tonight, and we couldn't keep him waiting any longer.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. This is great. This is great. This has been full of great moments all across the board.
Welcome home, Sergeant Williams. Thank you very much. As the world bears witness tonight, America is a land of heroes. This is a place where greatness is born, where destinies are forged, and where legends come to life. This is the home of Thomas Edison and Teddy Roosevelt, of many great generals, including Washington, Pershing, Patton, and MacArthur. This is the home of Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, the Wright brothers, Neil Armstrong, and so many more. This is the country where children learn names like Wyatt Earp, Davy Crockett, and Annie Oakley. This is the place where the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth and where Texas patriots made their last stand at the Alamo. The beautiful, beautiful Alamo. The American nation was carved out of the vast frontier by the toughest, strongest, fiercest, and most determined men and women ever to walk on the face of the earth. Our ancestors braved the unknown, tamed the wilderness, settled the Wild West, lifted millions from poverty, disease, and hunger, vanquished tyranny and fascism, ushered the world to new heights of science and medicine, laid down the railroads, dug out the canals, raised up the skyscrapers, and ladies and gentlemen, our ancestors built the most exceptional republic ever to exist in all of human history, and we are making it greater than ever before. This is our glorious and magnificent inheritance. We are Americans. We are pioneers. We are the pathfinders. We settled the new world. We built the modern world. And we change history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hand of Almighty God. America is the place where anything can happen. America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young. The sun is still rising. God's grace is still shining. And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Loved it, loved it, loved it. I can't say no more about how much I loved that. That was great. That was excellent. Very well done. The Democrats in all white, similar to how they were back in 1924 during the DNC when they called it the Klan bait when they came in all white. I guess they're going right now to get their hoods to put back on so they can go outside and protest maybe. There may be a response from the Democrats. Let's see. I'm gonna switch to this here. Let's go over here and see what they're gonna do. So now we got Trump leaving. You guys in the chat, please let me know if there's a response from the Democrats. I'll try to pull it up if it's not going to be on C-SPAN. You guys, please let me know, and I will just switch over there.
Absolutely. Great speech, Mr. President. Unbelievable. Awesome speech.
A lot of respect from people. Whole lot of respect. It's just like, come on, what are we doing?
You get better every year, buddy. Great defense of American You did great.
He's a funny guy.
Best speech. Great speech. Brilliant, Mr. President. Absolutely brilliant. Reagan, what you did was awesome.
Wonderful. Best defense. Same for you.
Amazing job, sir. Great job. So proud of you.
So wait a minute, did Pelosi tear up her speech? My man Matt Christensen says that Pelosi tore up her speech. Did that happen?
The chair declares the joint session of the two houses now dissolved. Then we go.
All right, I'm looking for a Democratic response if there is one.
To this one. The House come to order. Here's a speech. This is
All right, so the speech was great. I really enjoyed it. What I'm doing right now is just waiting to see what the response is going to be. Yeah, Pelosi did tear up the speech on camera. That was pretty pathetic.
All right, what do we have?
So the response should be right about now. It should be right around 10:30. So I think we're going to be getting into that like right now. So we're just kind of waiting for that to happen. Are they going to do it right there? What's going on? I don't know what's happening.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Maryland seek recognition?
The message of the President be referred to the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union and ordered printed.
Without objection.
Okay, so I think the response is going to be in about 2 minutes.
purpose does the gentleman from Maryland seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Accordingly, the House stands adjourned until 10 a.m.
That guy right there is black.
For debate.
That is G.K. Butterfield. He was once the leader of the Congressional Black Caucus, and I'm being dead serious. He's black for real.
The president spoke for about an hour and 15 minutes. The economy took up about a third of his speech. In just about 2 minutes or so, we're going to hear the Democratic response.
Okay, cool.
And it is Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan.
Who?
She's a former prosecutor. She was in the Michigan House for several years, along with the Michigan Senate.
Hey,
and she
I have
served
one
as
word.
the Democratic leader, the first woman to lead a Senate
Drink
caucus.
it.
And she was elected
Stay
in
hydrated.
2018. She's a first-term governor. And she'll be speaking from East Lansing High School, which is where her children attend school. And she will have a live audience as well. Her speech, her response is due to be about 11 minutes or so. As soon as that comes on, we will go to it live. Also online, you can listen to the Spanish language response by Veronica Escobar, of Congresswoman from El Paso.
I'm good.
And
no thanks.
that will be online at cspan.org.
No hablo español.
A couple of notes from the speech. Congressman Tim Ryan tweeted out, "I just walked out of the State of the Union. I've had enough. It's like watching professional wrestling. It's all fake." Bill Pascrell of New Jersey, Tom O'Halloran of Arizona, and Karen Bass of California also walked out during the speech. Again, the president spent about a third of his speech on the economy. He also discussed education and health care, illegal immigration, socialism, border security. You saw that Rush Limbaugh was given the Medal of Freedom. A scholarship was given away to a young lady from Pennsylvania, and a wife was reunited with her military husband. We're going to get your reaction to all of this and the Democratic response in just a few minutes after Governor Whitmer speaks. 2020.
Okay, I'm gonna just put that on pause right now. So I have this in the background, and we're gonna get on in just a minute. Let me just see if I can switch to this right now. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit. The response is coming up. As soon as it jumps up over here, I'm gonna switch right back to it, so y'all don't even worry about it. We're probably about a minute or so away. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find if it's gonna be somewhere else. But yeah, I'm gonna go straight to it as soon as it's there. Hold on. Matter of fact, I think we're live.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here and grateful that you're tuning in. I'm Gretchen Whitmer, the 49th governor of the great state of Michigan. Tonight, I'm at my daughter Sherry and Sydney's public school, East Lansing High School. We're here today with families and parents, teachers, and most importantly, students. I want to thank you all for coming, but tonight I'm going to talk to those of you who are watching at home. I'd need a lot more than 10 minutes to respond to what the president just said. So instead of talking about what he is saying, I'm going to highlight what Democrats are doing. After all, you can listen to what someone says, but to know the truth, watch what they do. Michiganders are no different from Americans everywhere. We love our families and want a good life today and a better life tomorrow for our kids. We work hard, and we expect our government to work hard for us as well. We have grit and value loyalty, and we still root for the Detroit Lions. We and all Americans might be weary of today's politics, but we must stay engaged. Our country, our democracy, our future demand it. We're capable of great things when we work together. We cannot forget that despite the dishonesty and division of the last few years, and that we heard tonight from the President of the United States, together we have boundless potential. And young Americans are proving that every day by taking action. That's what I want to focus on tonight. Monty Scott is 13 years old and lives in Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Monty Street was covered in potholes. They were ankle deep, and he got tired of waiting for them to get fixed. So he grabbed a shovel and a bucket of dirt and filled them in himself. During my campaign, people told me to fix the damn roads because blown tires and broken windshields are downright dangerous. And car repairs take money from rent, childcare, or groceries. And we, the Democrats, are doing something about it. In Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker passed a multi-billion-dollar plan to rebuild their roads and bridges. Governor Phil Murphy is replacing lead pipes in New Jersey. All across the country, Democratic leaders are rebuilding bridges, fixing roads, expanding broadband, and cleaning up drinking water. Everyone in this country benefits when we invest in infrastructure. Congressional Democrats have presented proposals to keep us moving forward, but President Trump and the Republicans in the Senate are blocking the path. When it comes to infrastructure, Monty has tried to do more with a shovel and a pile of dirt than the Republicans in D.C. have with the Oval Office and the U.S. Senate. Bullying people on Twitter doesn't fix bridges. It burns them. Our energy should be used to solve problems. And it's true for healthcare too. For me, for so many Americans, healthcare is personal, not political. When I was 30, I became a member of the sandwich generation. That means I was sandwiched between two generations of my own family for whom I was the primary caregiver. I was holding down a new job, caring for my newborn daughter, as well as my mom at the end of her brain cancer battle. I was up all night with a baby, and during the day, I had to fight my mom's insurance company when they wrongly denied her coverage for chemotherapy. It was hard. It exposed the harsh realities of our workplaces, our healthcare system, and our childcare system. And it changed me. I lost patience for people who are just talk and no action. So as a state senator, I worked with a Republican governor and legislature to expand healthcare coverage to more than 680,000 Michiganders under the Affordable Care Act. Today, Democrats from Maine to Montana are expanding coverage and lowering costs. In Kansas, Governor Laura Kelly is working across the aisle to bring Medicaid coverage to tens of thousands. In New Mexico, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham enshrined ACA protections into law. Every Democrat running for president has a plan to expand health care for all Americans. Every one of them has supported the Affordable Care Act with coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. They may have different plans, but the goal is the same. President Trump sadly has a different plan. He's asking the courts to rip those life-saving protections away. It's pretty simple. Democrats are trying to make your health care better. Republicans in Washington are trying to take it away. Think about kids like 17-year-old Blake Carroll from Idaho, who organized a fundraiser to pay for his mom's colon cancer treatment. Or 19-year-old Ebony Myers from Utah, who sells art to help pay for her own rare genetic disorder treatment. No one should have to crowdsource their health care, not in America. But the reality is, not everyone in America has a job with health care and benefits. In fact, many have jobs that don't even pay enough to cover their monthly expenses. It doesn't matter what the president says about the stock market. What matters is that millions of people struggle to get by or don't have enough money at the end of the month after paying for transportation, student loans, or prescription drugs.
Student loans.
American workers are hurting. In my own state, our neighbors in Wisconsin and Ohio, Pennsylvania, and all over the country, wages have stagnated while CEO pay has skyrocketed. So when the president says the economy is strong, my question is, strong for whom? Strong for the wealthy who are reaping rewards from tax cuts they don't need? The American economy needs to be a different kind of strong. Strong for the science teacher spending her own money to buy supplies for her classroom. Strong for the single mom picking up extra hours so she can afford her daughter's soccer cleats. Strong for the small business owner who has to make payroll at the end of the month. Michigan invented the middle class, so we know if the economy doesn't work for working people, it just doesn't work. Who fights for hardworking Americans? Democrats do. In the U.S. House,
Right.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi
Okay.
and Democrats passed a landmark bill on equal pay, another bill to give 30 million Americans a raise by increasing the minimum wage, and groundbreaking legislation to finally give Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices for America's seniors and families. Those three bills and more than 275 other bipartisan bills are just gathering dust on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's desk. Senator McConnell, America needs you to move those bills. Meanwhile, Democrats across the country are getting things done. Pennsylvania's Governor Tom Wolf is expanding the right to overtime pay. Michigan is too. Because if you're on the clock, you deserve to get paid. Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper are working to give hard-working teachers a raise. And speaking of the classroom, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers unilaterally increased school funding by $65 million last year. In Colorado, Governor Jared Polis has enacted free all-day kindergarten. And in 29 states, we've helped pass minimum wage hikes into law, which will lift people out of poverty and improve lives for families. That's strength. That's action. Democracy takes action.
They're not up yet, but as soon as they
What was
are,
that? I guess it just stopped. I don't know what happened. That was kind of random. If I can find it again right quick, I'll put it back up. But it just stopped. I don't know why they did that. Let me see if I can find a different stream. You guys ain't going.
With a shovel and some dirt. It's what gives me great confidence in our future. And it's why sometimes it feels like they're the adults in the room. But it shouldn't have to be that way. It's not their mess to clean up. It's ours. The choices we make today create their reality tomorrow. Young people, I'm talking to you and your parents and grandparents. Democrats want safe schools. We want everyone to have a path to a good life, whether it's through a union apprenticeship, a community college, a four-year university, without drowning in debt. We want your water to be clean. We want you to love who you love and to live authentically as your true selves. And we want women to have autonomy over our bodies. We want our country welcoming, and everyone's vote counted. 2020 is a big year. It's the year my daughter Sherry will graduate from high school. It's also the year she'll cast her first ballot, along with millions of young Americans. The two things are connected, because walking across a graduation stage is as important as walking into the voting booth for the first time. Her future, all our kids' futures, will be determined not just by their dreams, but by our actions. As we witness the impeachment process in Washington, there are some things each of us, no matter our party, should demand. The truth matters. Facts matter. And no one should be above the law. It's not what those senators say. Tomorrow, it's about what they do that matters. Remember, listen to what people say, but watch what they do. It's time for action. Generations of Americans are counting on us. Let's not let them down. Thank you for listening. God bless America. Good night.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer delivering the Democratic response from a high school in East Lansing, Michigan, a state that Democrats would badly like to get back in this 2020 election. One bit of housekeeping, the president did in fact say those ritual words, the State of the Union is stronger than ever before. He said it about 10 minutes into his.
All right, so that'll pretty much be a wrap for the State of the Union address. You guys have been great tonight. I really, really appreciate y'all. Hold on, it's Booty Gate right here. What's he about to say?
Results finally released late today from yesterday's Iowa caucus. Mayor, I guess congratulations are in order, but as you know.
Well, okay, well, I just want to interview him about the results. So as of right now, talking about the caucus right quick, Booty Gig, this is ridiculous. It's been like a full 24 hours and they don't have the results from the caucus. Look, you're at like 62% But Trump was able, well, the Republicans were able to have their votes 100% pretty much in like an hour after the caucus was over. This is ridiculous. So he's at like 27%. Sanders at 25, Warren at 18, Biden at 16. That's crazy. So it's pretty much a wrap for Joe Biden. Buttigieg, I don't think it's really that high, but he could be. Who knows? So that'll be a wrap for that. We'll talk about stuff like that on but tomorrow's live show. I thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. This was a great speech from Donald Trump. He said everything that needed to be said. Hit a lot of great points. There were a lot of emotional moments that I was not ready for, like how he brought the kid out there that wanted to be part of the Space Force, then brought out his great granddad who was a Tuskegee Airman. That was beautiful. I mean, that was great. The military family reuniting with each other, that was great. The young man that lost his dad, I think, over in the war, that was a touching moment. Rush Limbaugh getting the congressional, what was that, the Medal of Honor? That was great. That was fantastic. That was a great moment. I did not think he would get it right then. I knew he was going to get the medal, but I didn't know it would be right then during the actual show. I mean, during the speech. I had no idea. That was a great moment to see. And then I really enjoyed seeing Rush's face when he got it. He was like, just shocked, just totally surprised. People talking about, oh, he didn't really earn it. Rush earned that medal for sure. If you know about Rush and what he did and what he's been doing all throughout his career, he definitely earned that for sure. He earned it more than Ellen or somebody like that may have gotten it. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll move on. So I really enjoyed this. The Democrats wearing all white, that's to be expected. That's pretty much what they've been doing since the 1800s, wearing it didn't have on their hoods like they normally would back in the day, but it's the same thing. My question would be, since the Democrats started the Klan, why would they come out in all white? Do they not know their history, or are they just ignoring their history like it ain't really happened? Like it's not really a thing, like it didn't start the Ku Klux Klan. What's really going on? I don't really know. Pardon me. It was not the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's it. Thank y'all for correcting me. There's a Congressional Medal of Honor. Then there's a Presidential Medal of Freedom. He got that. So I'm glad y'all able to correct me on that. But it was a good thing to see Rush Limbaugh get that right there during the State of the Union address. It was a lot of good moments. Yeah, it was great that Melania was able to give it to him, for sure. Yeah, Rush has been around since, what, the 80s, the 70s maybe? At least the 80s, as far as I know. And yeah, he's definitely done a lot for the country, for conservatism, for radio, period. I'm hearing that he saved AM radio back in the 80s, like in 88, But hey, I could be wrong. At the end of the day, this was a good speech, and I wonder how this is going to be looked at tomorrow from the mainstream media on the left. One thing I noticed is that he did not bring up impeachment. It's like it's not even going on right now. He's not even really worried about it. If he did bring it up, I didn't hear it. He's focused on the American people, talking about jobs, infrastructure. One thing I noticed is that there's a lot of liberal ideas in here. Paid time off for mothers, things like that. Some of these ideas he's pushing, the liberals should love. And it was the same thing last time, but they're so tribalistic, they want to sit as much as possible. They could not sit for certain things like HIV medication and research and stuff like that. They could not sit for that. Or a little boy coming up there, he lost his dad. It's hard for them to sit for that. But other things like people being taken out of poverty, not being on food stamps anymore, they did not stand for that, because one thing about the Democrats is that they want you to be dependent upon them. If you're lifted out of poverty and not on food stamps anymore, that kind of gnaws away at their voter block that needs to be on food stamps to vote for the Democrats. If they're not on food stamps anymore and they're being productive and successful, why vote for the Democrats? I'm going to go over here and vote for the other party. I don't need your handouts anymore. I'm good money. That's kind of how it works. I can do for myself. I can get a job, go out there and work and make a way for myself in the country rather than relying upon your food stamps, welfare, EBT, WIC, TANF, et cetera, so on and so forth. So I really, really enjoyed that. So, they didn't stand for the abortion thing either. He was talking about, he wants to put an end to late-term abortion. They did not stand for that. That's pretty typical, because any kind of intrusion into abortion is bad in their eyes because they think it will lead to another thing. It's funny how the left seems to think that one law against abortion, it doesn't matter how small it is, should not be celebrated because it may lead to other things, but they don't understand how one law into gun control should not be celebrated because it leads to more things. They'll say, oh, it's just one little law. We're not going to go any further. There's BS. They understand how they operate, and they think we'll operate the same way. Maybe that's the case as far as abortion. Maybe we want to, start small, then grow big with abortion. As far as starting with banning late-term abortions, then banning abortion all the way, maybe that's true. But they understand how these things go, so why don't they act like they understand it when it comes to things that we're talking about? So I think I'm going to do an official reaction video, because right now I'm just kind of talking. I don't have any kind of, set way I'm going to do it. I'm just talking about what's going on. So I'm going to read some super chats, and then I wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I definitely appreciate you. You are the best audience on YouTube. If you are a first-time viewer, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video as well, do all that good stuff. So U812 said Russia's been around since early 1970s radio. Very long time. Hold on. Is Bernie responding? Wait. Okay, where is Bernie responding at? Okay, let me just go and see if I can find it right quick. Hold on. Hopefully anybody just trolling. Now, I don't see Bernie responding anywhere, but it is what it is. I think Bernie always does some kind of response, but I don't see it. And it's kind of hard for me to, let me see. All right. Super chats, and then I'm out. Thank you to Diamond Jane for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Heather Cliff with the donation emoji. It says thank you with the little character dancing. Thank you for that. Is it on Fox? Okay, hold on one second. If I can find it on Fox, I'll go over there. If not, then I'm going to just continue. All right, let's see if we have anything here. I do not see it on Fox. Let's continue. Thank you to Truth World 3D, who says, everybody's saying Fox. Is it on Fox YouTube or what? Because I just pull up the Fox. I have YouTube TV, and I don't see it on that particular channel. Is it on the Fox YouTube page or on Fox News on TV? I need you guys to let me know that. Okay, here we go. I see it. Thank y'all.
Have seen their wealth increase by $854 billion, a 37% increase.
I'm sorry for the sound.
In other words,
it's not my fault.
The very, very, very rich are becoming even richer. Meanwhile, wages for the average American worker have gone up by all of 17 cents an hour over the past year after adjusting for inflation, an increase of less than 1%. Here is Trump's booming economy. A 37% increase in the wealth of billionaires, a 1% increase in real wages for American workers. And thanks to Trump, for the first time in the history of this country, this is quite unbelievable, but billionaires now pay a lower effective tax rate than the average working person in this country. Do you believe that? And profitable corporations like Amazon did not pay a nickel of federal income taxes last year, while they were owned by the wealthiest person in America. When Donald Trump was a candidate for president, he promised the American people that the wealthy would not benefit at all under his tax plan. We all remember that. Not the wealthy will not benefit. In fact, only the middle class and working families would benefit from his tax plan. He lied. As president, Trump signed a tax bill that provides 83% of all benefits over a 10-year period to the top 1%. Donald Trump said he would protect manufacturing jobs in states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, and Pennsylvania. He lied. Since Trump has been in office, over 170,000 American jobs have been shipped overseas. We are now in a manufacturing recession. And the NAFTA 2.0 deal that he recently signed will not prevent a single corporation from shutting down factories in the United States and moving them to Mexico, where workers are paid less than $2 an hour. We can and will do much better than a Trump-negotiated trade deal. No, President Trump, this is not the strongest economy we've ever had when 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured, and millions of Americans have lost their health insurance, President Trump, since you have been in office. This is not a booming economy when the pharmaceutical industry continues to rip off the American people by charging us the highest prices in the world by far for prescription drugs, and when 1 out of 5 Americans can't afford the medicine their doctors prescribe. Can you imagine that? People go to the doctor, they are sick, and they can't even afford to fill the prescriptions their doctors prescribe. In his remarks tonight, Donald Trump talked about the need for America to have the, quote, most affordable, innovative, and high-quality healthcare system on earth. He continued, "We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions," end quote. Really? How gullible do you think the American people are? This is the same president who came 1 vote away from throwing 32 million Americans off the health care they have and ending the Affordable Care Act's protection for pre-existing conditions. This is also the president who in his last budget proposed a $1.4 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and $845 billion in cuts to Medicare. This is not a booming economy when half of older Americans have no retirement savings and no idea how they will ever be able to retire with any shred of dignity. Now, as important as it is to respond to some of what President Trump said tonight, it is equally important to discuss what Trump refused to talk about. In the year 2020, how can a president of the United States give a State of the Union speech and not mention climate change?
This is fake, that's why.
How do you give a speech, State of the Union speech, and not mention climate change when the leading scientists of the world tell us that climate change is the greatest existential threat facing humanity, and that they, as scientists, have actually underestimated the speed and the severity in which climate change is wreaking havoc on our country and the entire world? I did not hear President Trump say one word about what it means when Australia is now on fire because of severe drought, and about the unprecedented level of flooding and extreme weather disturbances that we are experiencing. And failed to talk about how many American communities could be underwater in the next century.
Man, come on, cut it out.
As a result of rising sea levels. By ignoring and, in fact, exacerbating the crisis of climate change, President Trump is turning his back on the children of America and on future generations, and dooming them to live in a planet increasingly unhealthy and uninhabitable. It is truly sad that we have a President of the United States who lacks the courage to stand up to his billionaire friends in the fossil fuel industry. Tonight, I didn't hear Donald Trump say one word about gun violence or the epidemic of mass shootings that we have experienced in recent years. Together, the American people want strong policies to end gun violence, not subservience to the NRA. Now, if I might, let me share a little bit of good news with you. And that is that after traveling around this country, I am more confident than ever that the American people want a government that is based on the principles of justice and compassion, not greed and corruption. Instead of throwing 32 million Americans off of their health insurance, as Trump wants to do by repealing the Affordable Care Act, the American people understand that health care is a human right and not a privilege. That we must expand Medicare to cover every man, woman, and child in this country through a Medicare for all single-payer program. Now, Donald Trump may not like government health care, but Medicare is the most popular health insurance program in this country, and the time is long overdue for expanding it to cover all of our people. Tonight, President Trump talked about his desire to preserve Social Security. Funny, that's not what he said last month when he was in Davos with his billionaire friends and talked about the need to cut back on entitlement programs. So we say to the president, instead of trying to cut Social Security, we must expand Social Security benefits. So that every senior citizen in this country can live with the dignity they deserve, and every American with a disability can live with the security they need. Instead of more tax breaks for billionaires and Wall Street executives, we are going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. We are going to provide equal pay for equal work. are going to make it easier for workers to join unions. Instead of giving massive tax breaks and subsidies to the fossil fuel industry, as Trump is doing, we are going to enact a tax on Wall Street speculators so that we can make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel all student debt in America. Instead of giving corporate welfare to large companies that are shipping our jobs overseas, we're going to stop providing lucrative federal contracts to corporations that are outsourcing American jobs to low-wage countries. Instead of demonizing the undocumented, we are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship for the undocumented. And on day one, we are going to restore the legal status of the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. And in the richest country in the history of the world, we must not continue having more people in jail than any other country on earth because of a broken and racist criminal justice system. We need to invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. And when we talk about criminal justice reform, we need to end the so-called war on drugs and legalize marijuana in every state in this country. Yes, tonight we have heard Donald Trump talk about deregulation and getting government off the backs of the American people. But if Trump believes that we have to get government off the backs of the American people, then he must understand, and his colleagues and friends must understand, that it is women who must control their own bodies, not the government. If we are serious about transforming our country, if we are serious about rebuilding the middle class, if we are serious about economic, racial, social, and environmental justice, we must end the divisiveness that Donald Trump is fomenting.
Wrap it up, sir.
We must bring our people together, black and white, Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, and create a government based on the principles of justice. This is an unprecedented moment in American history. Let us go forward together. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for wrapping up, sir. Oh man, that was an ordeal. I do it for y'all, really. If it weren't for y'all and me wanting to just to serve, I would have went to bed. Okay. So that is it for that one. Okay. Wow, I thought it would never end. That was, I mean, at a certain point, you just kind of tune out. It's just the same old stuff. The same old thing that's been going on. Ain't nothing else really happening. And if you guys didn't see Nancy Pelosi, hold on. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. All right, let's get everything situated the way I want it. And give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now, here's Nancy Pelosi ripping up the State of the Union speech after Trump was over.
Address to the nation tonight, just sort of about address to the nation tonight, just sort.
She actually tore it up. She actually tore two up, actually. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the other one. I think I have it. And let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Address to the nation tonight, just sort of about an hour and a half. As we watch the interaction here, it comes in the middle of a huge week for the president as he hits his highest approval ratings in Gallup today.
Like,
address to the nation
come on,
tonight,
why be so petty?
Sort of
And you know what? The funny thing is that it's not gonna make a difference because they're still gonna lose. Coming up here, you can tear the papers all you want to. You can throw a hissy fit, and that's fine. You can do all that, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you're gonna lose. So, what are you even doing? You're not doing anything that'll make a difference, really, at all. Nobody's going to care. Nobody cares about you throwing a hissy fit, tearing up stuff. I mean, come on. You 70 million years old, and you're doing childish stuff like this. Come on. But like I said, it doesn't even really matter because at the end of the day, Trump's still going to win in 2020. Nobody they have is going to win. You think Pete Buttigieg is going to get you across the finish line? Lead you to the promised land? I think not. All right, so I have super chats I got to get through, and then I'm going to wrap it on up. Thank y'all for being here yet again. Sorry I had to make you suffer through the whole Bernie Sanders situation. But shout out to, okay, let me get to him. And thank you to Chief Rocco who says, donating one more time, ABL. I see you're dedicated to your craft. I am. And thank you for your recognition and your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Crush Groovin who says, I thought I'd stop in to say my finale. Thanks, ABL. Keep on keeping it. Hey, I will do. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to JD Ski 892 who says equal pay so I can make as much as a stripper. Okay, thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Christine Sanchez Lepe. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, who says, thank you, Anthony. Love your channel. Well, thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you for your support. Thank you to Diamond Jane for your donations and also the donation with the flying emoji. I really appreciate that. Shout out to Heather Cliff for your donation with a thank you with the emoji. Appreciate you. Thank you to Truth World 3D for your donation. Thank you to No Diggity No Doubt who says, please stop. Too much winning. We can't take it. That's right. Talking about Trump and his speech. Thank you for that. Shout out to Chris Groover who says, you all make my night. Maybe I'll be back. If not, God bless you all. Well, listen, though. Please, Mr. President, finish as you started. Good night. Snapbar. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Sinai 1337 who says, dang, look at my boy Trump throwing facts and shade at Nancy. There you go. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. And you know, the whole speech tearing kerfuffle could have been because apparently Trump had snubbed her handshake at the beginning. I'm not sure if that actually happened or not, but I've been reading about that. So there could be just a little bit of payback. But shout out to Killer Sushi who says Democrats will need an Excedrin PM tonight to ease the pain of the beating Trump unleashed on them tonight. Exactly. Thank you for that. Shout out to Crush Groove and again for your donation with the 3 thumbs up. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Chief Rocco who says peace ABL. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for your donation. Kevin Nell, thank you for your donation, who says, thanks, ABL, for keeping it real. That's all I can do. Shout out to Crush Groover, who says, forefathers, tears in heaven. Thanks, Lefty Lucy's. Thank you for that. Thank you to Elijah Jean Williams, who says, bless you, ABL, heart emoji, and everyone else here. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Shout out to Killer Sushi, who says, Democrats not clapping for record numbers is a bad look. Makes them look so salty. Thanks for the stream tonight, ABL. Heart emoji. Thank you for your support and your donation. And they do look very salty. Shout out to Juliana Oliver, who says, great day for more years. I'm right there. Richard, thank you for your donation. Shout out to JD Ski 892, who says she's reading on how to do an American Cop for Dummies, talking about Nancy Pelosi going through her papers. I appreciate you for that. Shout out to Crush Groover, who says how to stumble President Pelosi's book, ABL. You rock, pal. I thank you for that. Shout out to Slothy Tendencies for the donation, who says stay hydrated. Yes, please stay hydrated. Shout out to that governor from Michigan. Hey, if you want some water, I know where there's some in Flint, but different story. I'll move on. Please stay hydrated, because it was crazy because Bernie was actually hydrated, and Bernie's got to be a fossil. You understand what I'm saying? So it's pretty weird that he was hydrated. But thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Garden Warrior for the emoji donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to JD Ski 892, who says, how awesome would it be if Trump just turned around and flipped her off? Thank you for your donation. That's hilarious. Shout out to AM for the emoji donation. Emoji donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jason, who says Trump 2020. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to the real tweeter Anon for the emoji donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Sherman Long. I know I'm butchering your name, and I'm sorry for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you to the real tweeter Anon again for the emoji donation. Shout out to Harry Henderson, who says hashtag kill did not Epstein himself. Hashtag kill did not Epstein himself. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Julia Hunt for the donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to JD Ski 892, who says give speakers police give speakers police gavel. She turns into a tyrant. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Draco and Kodak, who says showing love from South Florida. Shout out to South Florida. Beautiful place, great state. I thank you for your donation. Shout out to Buddy Stott, who says ABL all day. Thanks for what you do. Thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate it. Shout out to Crush Groover, who says Kansas City, here I come. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Stephen Britz for your donation, who says keep up the good work, ABL. Hey, no problem. I do it all for y'all. Shout out to Conrad and Joseph on PayPal. I'm not saying your full names, of course, but thank you for your donations. I most certainly appreciate you guys. But that will be a wrap for me. I'll be back tomorrow doing a live stream, and I'll do like a condensed video, like a recap of the State of the Union address. And I do probably like another video midday about a topic. I don't know what it is yet, but definitely we'll be doing a live show tomorrow as usual. If you are new to the channel, tune in tomorrow, same channel. The time will be 8 p.m. Eastern time to 11 p.m. Eastern time for the first hour. So I'll talk like I'm doing right now about various things. And then from about 9 to 11 p.m., I take calls. You can call me about the topics or anything that's kind of politically related a little bit. We talk about whatever's on your mind, but that will be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace. I almost forgot. Shout out to the moderators as well. You guys did a great job tonight. I know the chat was crazy. It was all over the place. But thank y'all for doing what you do. I most certainly appreciate y'all. You got Elijah Jean, True Helper, Bill from the Hills, Michelle A, Ansel, Killer Sushi, the whole squad. Everybody, Streebs, I see you in here. Thank you to everybody that has been able to help. Bill from the Hills, of course. You guys have been fantastic. But for real, I'm out this time. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.